This is a short video on the basis of Jewish ethical teachings. It's a revision for what was covered last year in the Year 11 course. We need to understand what the basis of Jewish ethical teachings are so that we can see how they inform Jewish decisions in regards to sexual ethics. The following are the basis of Jewish ethical teachings: the commandments of the Torah, prophetic vision, social justice, Tikkun Olam, the book of Proverbs, and the Halakha. You do need to know what these are so that you can talk about them confidently in the exam. What you'll do is you'll have to be able to look at an ethical issue and look at how that the decisions that one would make as a Jewish adherent would be informed by one or more of these different areas of Jewish ethical teachings. Jewish ethical teachings are based on the commandments of the Torah. There are 613 mitzvot, which are essentially commandments that the Torah says you should do or you should not do. And they're found throughout the Hebrew Bible. On top of that, we also have Jewish prophetic vision, which what it does is that they're from the books of the prophets, and they provide us with lots of examples and notions of social justice, and also a concept called Tikkun Olam. So essentially trying to make the world a better place and looking after the marginalised and supporting the marginalised in society. Tikkun Olam is essentially, or literally means repairing the world. So it means that we should be, as a Jewish adherent, trying to leave the world in a better state than the way that we found the world. The next area of Jewish ethical teachings is the Halakha, which is the Jewish law. This as well, it's based on scripture, but it also can be informed by new ethical issues arising. So it's not hard and fast, it's not concrete. What it means is if a new ethical issue arises, it can be reinterpreted and people's values change as well and society changes. The Halakha can change as well as that too. So as society evolves and as new ethical issues arise, then the Halakha can adapt itself to suit that. So that's what shows that Judaism is really a living religious tradition, because it does reshape and re-evolve itself over time to meet the demands of new eras. So we have the Halakha, which is an interpretation of the Torah, and in the Torah we have the 613 mitzvot, but those 613 laws, even though there's quite a lot of them, they can't legislate on every possible situation. So what the Jewish faith teaches is that if there is not something prescribed saying you should do this or you shouldn't do this, or it's a new ethical issue that hasn't been sort of dealt with in the Halakha, or it's a new situation that has arisen, then the Jewish person should use their own conscience to decide whether this is the right thing or the wrong thing to do. So again, I suppose that shows that it is a bit of a living religious tradition. On top of this, we also have the Talmud, which is essentially the oral Torah, which what that is that the early sort of teachers would come up with their interpretations of the scripture, and they would write their own interpretations. Or these were eventually written down in what was called the Mishnah, and that became the written down oral tradition, which provided ethical guidance for adherents as well. And over time, this was reinterpreted again into what was called the Gemara, and what they've done is they've formed the Talmud, which is this written down oral teachings of previous Jews, and they can provide guidance for Jewish adherents in their everyday life in regards to ethical issues too. So what we need to understand is that for Jewish adherents, it's not hard and fast. There are some things which are considered probably more ethically bad, I suppose, than others. But in terms of new issues arising, the Halakha can adapt itself to provide Jewish adherents with guidance that sort of reflects the society that they're in and the time period they're in and all those other sorts of things. So that's essentially the basis of Jewish ethical teachings. Now, it's important that we understand what these different things are, and you need to be able to name them and discuss them, so that when you're talking about these things and you're drawing from these different areas of the basis of Jewish ethical teachings, to be able to respond to a question. So you'll need to be able to provide examples from these different areas to support what you're saying about Jewish ethical teachings in regards to sexual ethics.